So, you've booked that amazing cruise. Your bags are practically packed and you can already taste the salty air. But what if I told you the biggest threat to your vacation isn't a storm at sea, but a political storm brewing in Washington, D.C.? Yeah, it's a surprising link, so let's get right into it.
It sounds a little crazy, right? But believe it or not, the answer is a big, fat yes. The real question isn't just if it could happen, it's about what you can do to make sure your vacation plans don't go down with the ship, so to speak. Because here's the thing a lot of people forget. Your cruise doesn't really start when you step on that gorgeous ship. Nope, it starts the moment you leave for the airport. And the connection between this plane and this ship, well, that's the weak link in the chain right now. That's the part of your journey that's seriously at risk.
Okay, so how on earth does a political argument on Capitol Hill lead to total chaos on an airport tarmac? Well, it's all about a chain reaction, a domino effect that starts with just one single event. And it all kicks off right here. When the government shuts down, the funding for all sorts of federal agencies gets cut off. That includes the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA. And that leads directly to our next domino. You see, the FAA needs a full team of air traffic controllers to safely manage all the planes in the sky. A shutdown can mean furloughs, staffing shortages, you get the picture. And suddenly, you have a huge hole in the system that's supposed to keep air travel running like clockwork. And this is the final piece of the puzzle. When you have fewer controllers trying to manage the same number of planes, it's a recipe for disaster. So the FAA has no choice but to step in and force airlines to cut back on their flights. It's a safety thing, for sure, but it has a massive ripple effect. And just look at this number to get a sense of the scale we're talking about. In some areas, we could see flight reductions of up to 10%. That's impacting 40 major airports across the U.S. We're not talking about a few canceled flights here and there. This is a huge chunk of the schedule just disappearing. All right, so we've connected the dots from a government shutdown to flight cuts. Now let's talk about what really matters, how this whole mess could become a direct threat to your hard-earned vacation. And the risks are, well, they're very real. Your flight could get canceled, meaning you miss the ship's departure completely. Or a long delay could have you showing up to the port just in time to watch your vacation sail off into the sunset. And the real kicker? You could be stuck paying for crazy expensive last-minute travel changes because your insurance might not even cover this kind of problem. And this right here, this is the cold, hard truth of the situation. A cruise ship is running on a very tight schedule with thousands of other passengers. It's not a taxi. It literally cannot wait for you. If you're not there on time, the ship is leaving. Getting to that port is 100% your responsibility. Okay, I know that all sounds pretty bleak, but don't stressing just yet. This is the part where you take back control. There is a very clear step-by-step playbook you can use to protect your trip and give yourself some much-needed peace of mind.
Here we go. This is your game plan. First up, and honestly, this is the most important tip. Fly in a day early. That's your ultimate safety net. It gives you a buffer against almost any delay. After that, it's all about being smart and proactive. Choose flexible airfare. Keep an eye on your flight status like a hawk as your trip gets closer. You'll also want to know your cruise line's policy on late arrivals and really, really dig into your travel insurance. And finally, always have a plan B in your back pocket and talk to your travel agent the second you think there might be an issue.
All right, let's zoom in on what is often the most confusing part of that whole playbook, travel insurance. Because let me tell you, not all policies are created equal, especially when you're dealing with something like this. You pretty much have to become a fine print detective. You're looking for things like trip interruption and trip delay coverage. But, and this is a big but, you have to watch out for the exclusions. A lot of basic policies will straight up say they don't cover problems caused by government actions. Your safest bet is often a cancel for any reason policy, but even those have rules. The bottom line, read your policy before you have a problem. So, as we wrap this up, the big takeaway here isn't to panic, it's to prepare. Seriously, a little bit of planning before you go can save you from a world of headache and heartache down the road. Because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about, right? This amazing trip that you've worked so hard for and have been dreaming about. It's a huge investment of your time and your money. And protecting that investment starts way before you ever leave your house. So I'll just leave you with this one final question to chew on. While you're busy planning your outfits and your shore excursions, just ask yourself, is my backup plan as carefully packed as my suitcase? Because a truly great vacation isn't just about where you're going. It's about making absolutely sure you get there in the first place.